So now we know the overall process of updating the state with functional update and how do we manage events. Now in the beginning, I mentioned that we will be working with various types of input elements and that we will see in our project also. But right now, I just want to mention if you have to deal with checkbox or radio buttons, the very same thing may not work the way we want. The reason is, like when you have a checkbox, for example, this last name, I keep value true at the moment. And also in the input, I just say checkbox here. So now this has become just a checkbox which will have true and false. But if you observe the value here, it says on. The reason is that we do not have the value property for checkbox when we refer e.target.value. So whenever there is a checkbox or radio button, you will be using the checked property. Now here you already have the event object, so you can check which type of element it is and you can write the code by putting an if condition, or you can have separate input handler for the checkboxes and radio buttons. So it depends on the kind of program you work and which approach you like to implement. Here, let me just show you very quickly that if I just give, let's say, a function, which I again say input check handler, this will also have the same pattern. So I'm going to say E here, and I can certainly copy this entire line. It's not a problem. But instead of e.target.value, I can say e.target.checked. That means it is going to return a boolean value, true or false, whether it is checked or not. And now this input check handler, I can call when this checkbox is clicked. Now I can simply refresh the code, and if I click here, you can see that now it is working properly, that is true and false is coming the way we are expecting it to behave. So whenever you have the drop down button, you will have the value property, text boxes, you will have the value property, but when you have the checkbox or radio button, you will have to deal with a different way, a different method you can arrange in your code, like the way I have done here. So in this case, if you follow this pattern, it means that all your checkboxes and radio buttons can have something like input check handler or any method you name. So all those methods can call a handler which has the checked property, and for other you can call this method which has the value property. So now let's talk about a question, the exercise you can extend. Now I want to give you a main exercise. So now you have to design this kind of form. You have input fields, you have radio buttons, checkbox, and also a submit button. So when the submit button is clicked, you have to show the data in this way here. So this exercise you can practice.